Paragraph is to restate the thesis, then tell the overall importance for the thesis. So those are the formulas, a model for your Unit 3 essay. Let me grab a copy of that. This essay is on a topic I don't believe is being assigned this session. These topics are changed each session. Prison overcrowding, but as you'll notice, it begins with the APA title page. The second page of the template, as you know, is the abstract. The abstract is not indented and is 75 to 125 words long. It is a summary of your entire paper. It's not a repetition of your thesis and your main points, but it is what you would say to someone in 100 words if they ask you what your paper was about. The body of the essay consists of the 5 paragraphs that we have discussed. The introduction paragraph, 2 to 5 sentences that introduce the thesis. Here's the thesis. The result is that prison overcrowding is a serious financial burden for Americans. As you can tell, this person chose to use a source in her introduction as a way to beefing up that introduction, as a way of introducing the thesis. You'll notice that the author's name is inside the parentheses, and so that immediately tells you that it is a paraphrase. And as soon as I see that in-text citation, Crawford, I go to the last sentence and see if I can find it on the last page, and see if I can find it on her list of references, and there it is. And then I can look at that quickly. I know that the student used the Bedford Bibliographer. Those are perfect citations. Then come the body paragraphs. The body paragraphs are state, explain, support, conclude. Be sure to number your main points. First, prison overcrowding is a financial burden because prisoners are not getting enough rehabilitation to transition back to society. So there's stating the main point. Here is the explanation of the main point. Here she chose to use a source in the explanation, and that's fine. You can use them anywhere. Here's the explanation of the main point. While the responsibility of the Bureau of Prisons is to safely confine its prisoner population, she should have said one of the responsibilities. Another central mission of the Bureau is to rehabilitate and to provide inmates with opportunities to obtain skills which will aid them in their ability to readjust to their community after being released. So she cites that from Pavis. In other words, that is a translated quote right there. Keep in mind that a citation can only refer to the sentence that it follows, that it is a part of. That's why the period, here's the period here, let me zoom this in. The period is after the citation for a reason. And that reason is the citation is part of the sentence. And that's why the period goes after the citation. So an in-text citation can only refer to the one sentence it is a part of. Most inmates come to jail with little or no education at all, and once released, these prisoners are right back where they started from. So those are her words and thoughts. Then she supports that with Talbot. Talbot states, many will be drug users who receive no treatment for their addiction, while on the inside, sex offenders who got no counseling, and illiterate high school dropouts who took no classes and acquired no job skills. So, as you can see, Talbot is outside the parentheses, so that it immediately flags it as an introduction to a direct quotation. As soon as I see Talbot, I go to the last page and look up Talbot, see if the citation is correct, the reference citation, and there it is, catch and release. Okay, so after her support section, she then concludes her body paragraph. The more prisoners that are rehabilitated, the quicker they can start to contribute to society once they're released. So referring back to the overall point of financial burden. So you simply do that 3 times. State, explain, support, conclude. 3 different body paragraphs, and then conclude your essay with some kind of transition phrase. In summary, in conclusion, to conclude, America should look into getting more rehabilitation for these prisoners so they won't continue to be such a terrible financial burden. Here you see she is restating her thesis, and now she's telling the importance of the thesis. That is why it is necessary to give them the tools they need to be able to function in the real world. If we do nothing to address the problems offenders bring in with them, then nothing will change to improve prison overcrowding in this country. So she's getting that idea from a source, and that one sentence, the ideas in it obviously came from Mr. Kaiser. And then she concludes with, we must stop America from becoming even more of a prison nation than it already is. So there's the importance. Okay, so those are the 5 paragraphs of the essay. And they are followed by, on a separate page by themselves, an alphabetical list, double-spaced, of your references. She has 5 here. You only need 2. You can have more than 2, but the assignment calls for a minimum of 2. No author's name. You put in a shortened title. You substitute a shortened title for the author's name. And I actually believe she did that. Let's pull up the essay. If you look at the last reference citation on this page, you'll see that this is a source that does not specify an author. So you always begin with the title, year of publication, the name of the journal, magazine, newspaper, or book, volume, issue, comma, inclusive page numbers. Looks like this article is only 1 page long. It's probably an editorial. And then name of the database.